This is a display of minerals of the British Isles, and obviously my passion has always been British minerals, and here are some of the best, some of the iconic specimens. You'll find them in many of the books on British mineralogy, and here they are, the actual specimens. So for someone who loves British minerals as I do, there are some very, very important pieces here. This here, Libethenite, this is the best Libethenite to come from England. And it's beautiful crystals. So it's a copper phosphate mineral. And this is illustrated, as many of these pieces are, in the Embry and Symes book on minerals of Devon and Cornwall. This here is banded cassiterite, so they call this wood tin. And you can still find pebbles of this on the beaches if you're very, very lucky nowadays. But it's cassiterite, which is tin oxide, and it forms these banded deposits in the rock. And when you cut and polish them, they show this beautiful banding, like agate, but with tin ore. And this is again a particularly beautiful piece of it. This here is another form of cassiterite, but it's a pseudomorph. So this is where cassiterite has replaced previous orthoclase feldspar crystals. So it retains the shape of the orthoclase, but it's actually tin oxide, so it's much heavier. And in this particular mine, Wheel Coats, apparently so many of these were found at the time that these were taken and ground up and used as ore. But now these are very valuable. A small piece, 2 or 3 centimeters long, would be $200 or $300 at least dollars.
And beautiful crystallography there.
Beautiful, yes. You can see all the twinning on the feldspar, which is completely mirrored now in the replacement with cassiterite. So there are far too many great specimens here to go through each one of them. This one's interesting though, and this is siderite. This is a particular form of siderite from real Magdalen, which was known as horse tooth ore, and it was, you see these sort of flat crystals with, I don't know if you can see in the video, but they've got this sort of concentric banding within the crystals. Now, and they're associated with little quartz crystals as well. As far as we know, this was only ever found once, and there is a big piece in the wall, and maybe we'll go and have a look at that now because it's right in this next cabinet.
Okay.
Here, you'll notice that this label actually says Chalabite, which was the old British name for siderite, but it's the same material. But you can see here the quartz, and this was obviously some cavity where this came out of. What I'm told, and what some people now say, is that every specimen that's around in the world came from one piece, one cavity. This is like 1/3 or 1/2 of it. And every other piece, including that piece we saw previous, fitted together into this like a big jigsaw.
So
now,
it's really a unique piece.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a small piece of that at home with 3 or 4 of those little flat siderites on. And it's one of my particular treasures to actually have one of those.
That's amazing. Wow.
So let's carry on just quickly looking at some of the other British minerals here. So this is famous. This is Blue John, which is a form of banded fluorite. Now, having said that, this isn't a particularly great piece, and we'll probably look at some other pieces a bit later. What's interesting is this has now come into the news because the mine where this was dug out from, in the last week or so, they have rediscovered a lost deposit of this. And apparently it was hidden under a load of rubble, and then a piece of carpet was hidden over it.
You're kidding.
No, and apparently it was recorded 70 years ago by the mine owners who said that they'd found this, and then ever since they've been looking for it and couldn't find it.
It's amazing.
And they've now discovered it again.